bucket list. Before it's all over, someone will call me a millionaire, and it's not going to be speaking anything into existence. It's going to be the fact that I've accomplished the goal of becoming a millionaire. As a child, I always wanted to say I'm a millionaire. I wanted people to say, yo, that's a millionaire. I want to be the person that's talking to someone and they say, oh my gosh, I met this millionaire, or oh my gosh, they're a millionaire. That's a bucket list. Don't you want to be called a millionaire? Not speaking into existence, but I'm talking about like someone saying, yo, this person is a certified millionaire. When are you gonna do it? Okay, when are you gonna do it? When are you gonna do it?
7:45 a.m. Catch me on the morning meetup, hosted by David Shanes.
One accomplishment this week. Throw it in the chat. One accomplishment this week that you are going to accomplish. One accomplishment that you are going to accomplish this week. Hands down, big accomplishment. Throw it in the chat. I need to see it. What is one thing you are going to accomplish? It's going to be big this week. You're going to record the module 1. I love it. Win a government contract for sure. Finish your business plan, getting module 1 done on my course. I love it. Finish the Spotify workshop. Okay, find a real estate deal. Make $5K. I love it. Ebook complete. Completed my welcome series for my natural hair community. Strategize on my pivot. Are you sure? Scale of 1 to 5. How confident are you? 1 saying I'm just putting it in there because you asked me to. 5 saying it's done. It's done. It's done. Well, throw it in the chat. It's done. Throw it in the chat. It's done. It's done. It is done. It's done. We are executing, and I'm so proud of everybody this month. I don't know what it's been, but this month we've had some executioners, man. We got some people like really, really going after their goal in spite of all the stuff that the world is saying that shouldn't be done. They're trying to drive fear into you, and you saying, yo, I'm leaning into it, and this is when we are going to build wealth for sure. All right, let's get into it. We're going to talk about checking off our bucket list. Do me a favor, throw something in the chat that's on your bucket list, lifelong bucket list. Just throw it in the chat real quick. What's in your lifelong bucket list? I'm talking about bucket, Bora. Okay, ain't nothing but a flight, Kels. Go get that. Go get that. Move out of New York City. Come on. You can do that. It's easy. Bull riding. Woo. Travel to Africa. I see you. Base jumping. Not sure what that is. Billionaire. Bucket list, billionaire stuff. You got time too. Skydiving. I love this. Oh my gosh. You guys are dreaming. Range Rover. That ain't nothing but a little bit of money. You're going to have that. You're going to have that for sure. Go to Thailand. Probably for some particular reason. I like that. Build generational wealth. Okay. Build up YouTube channel. Just get a little specific with that, Crystal. Because if you get one more follower or subscriber today than you had yesterday, you've built up your YouTube channel at least more than yesterday. Horseback riding. I love it. Travel with no limitations. Imagine this. Here's some bucket list stuff. I haven't done it yet. But it is on my bucket list. Go to the airport with a book bag and then decide where I'm going. Cool stuff. I mean, just looking at the board, like, that's like, just go to the airport. Okay, just go. Imagine. Yeah, we all gonna go, the whole family. You know what? I'm not even going to domestic. I'm going to the international side. Passports in hand. And we're gonna decide. We're gonna look at the little board. We're gonna walk up to the lady and say, hey, what are the flights? What are the next 5 or 10 flights that are going out within the next hour? I'm gonna pick one and buy it and leave. I'm extremely afraid and nervous of that right now because I like to know where I'm going. So this is like facing my fears too at the same time, because I need to know. And like, you know what I mean? I don't even want to fly too long either. First class, of course. Not even first class. Delta One, which is different. It's the you gotta have the pods where you lay down and you go to sleep on the plane. Come on, y'all. All right, so I did check off a bucket list, something that was on my bucket list for a long time, and that was going on a private plane. I thought that was only reserved for rappers and athletes and really, really cool people. And I did it, and I realized it only took money. Do me a favor, throw it in the chat it just takes a little money, just a little money. Just put it in the chat. It takes a little money. Sydney, now how was it? It was an experience. I mean, you feel more in the private plane. You feel more. Like when you're like turbulent, you know how you go on the plane, like a commercial plane, you feel a little turbulence. It's like, ooh, a little turbulence. It's a little more turbulence. You know what I mean? It's like I didn't like it. If I'm gonna be real, I do like the fact that you walk up to the plane. Like it's no TSA, you don't take off your shoes. They don't got to look at your passport, look at you, and look at the passport, look at you, tell you to take your mask down, all that kind of stuff. You don't got to do that. You don't got to wait in line. You don't got to be there 2 hours early. We were supposed to leave at 2 and we left at 2:30 because the plane waits for you. You just go whenever you're ready and you go. You see your friends, you take some pictures, you get on the plane, and then you leave. When you land, they check your passport, and then you're out. Done. That joint was super fly. Not saying I wouldn't do it again, but it's not on my bucket list to do it again. Okay. All right. So let's get into it. Okay. For one, maybe some people don't have a bucket list, but I think there needs to be some sort of life accomplishments, and we'll kind of go like surface level stuff today. But somebody put it in the chat. If you had a chance to look at, Martin Luther King's bucket list, what do you think will be on there? Throw it in the chat real quick. Throw it in the chat. If you had a chance to look at Martin Luther King's bucket list, and he was on the morning meetup, yo, you know, if Martin Luther King was around, he'd be on the morning meetup. I'd have him on a podcast for sure. We would have that conversation. What do you think on his bucket list? Become president, live past 40, black equity, freedom, more dream. Listen, he laid out his stuff. He laid that stuff out like on his bucket list. One day, I have a dream. Okay. So we're talking about dreaming again. And I guess this kind of coincides with the book, right, Bryn? Because it's about belief.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is like the perfect book for this perfect topic, right? But do we have to decide what we want? And I just want you to want some stuff today, but we're going to break it down into categories. Okay. So number one, we're about to start. Y'all ready? If you're ready, say I'm ready. If you're ready, just say I'm ready. If you're ready, say I'm ready. Just know you got your pen in your hand and or you're kind of writing down your tablet. This is important. I don't want you to just listen. I want you to write it down. Okay. And it's going to take some time to actually go through it. So number one on our bucket list, physical. What is on your physical bucket list? What are the things that you want to do before it's all over? Physically, physically, what do you want? Okay, so do you want a six-pack? Maybe on your bucket list, you've had dreams and visions of you having a six-pack. It's not on my bucket list. You know what I mean? Well, maybe. Lose 50 pounds on my butt. Before it's all over, I will fit into a size. I don't know what the sizes are for women, but before it's all over, maybe you've struggled with your weight your entire life, and on your bucket list, it is to fit into a size whatever. Or maybe you struggle with your weight your whole life, and your bucket list is to go into a Louis store or a Gucci store and buy something to wear because they are not really fluent with sizes. And maybe that's on your bucket list, right? Or physically, let's say your bucket list to run a marathon. Bucket list stuff. Orlando said to walk, bucket list stuff, which I think this book speaks a lot to that. It speaks a lot to that. And listen, this is the kind of stuff that will 100% make me a believer. Bucket list. You just got to know, I want you to know what you want before it's all over. We get one life to live. Maybe on your bucket list is to have children, and you've had a challenge with having children. This is on your bucket list. So I'm going to give maybe Me and my wife struggled for a while, and some of you will be able to relate, where every month when my wife's cycle hits, she cries. Before it comes, she has these feelings, right? It's like, yo, David, I really feel something. Like, I feel like my body's changing, and it's like, it's happening. And then a couple days later, her cycle hits and she's in tears. But she never gave up on this. She never gave up on it. She never gave up on it. And now we're on part 2. Isn't that amazing? People struggle. Listen, my cousin struggled with having children. I mean, for years. And then did a bunch of procedures. I'm talking about 3 or 4 procedures. He had to fly all the way, like finally he had to fly all the way to Okinawa, Japan to have this procedure. And guess what? God blessed him with twins. She never gave up on her. Like it was a bucket list. Maybe it's to join some sort of competition. Maybe it's to get in the Olympics. I don't know what it is, but let's just have some sort of physical bucket list. Okay, but here on that same list, I want you to ask yourself a question. What is required? Come on, Miss B, you got this. You got this. Just never quit. You got to do whatever it takes before the end is over. Before it's all over, you're going to accomplish this. Now, I want you to ask yourself the question, what does it take? Yes, it takes belief, but it's probably going to take some other stuff. So my cousin could have said, well, it just takes me believing that I'm going to have a baby, but he did much more. He researched every single procedure, doctor. He's looking at all the testimonials, and the first one didn't work, second one didn't work. And I want to say it was like the 3rd try where I had to go all the way across the world to make it happen because he was super locked in on getting to this bucket list. There's going to be something required for you to accomplish this thing. This is just a physical. So we have a couple things we're going to talk about. Maybe your goal is to run a 4K. I don't know, but before it's all over, you know what's really, really cool? Michelle said, keep the faith. Absolutely. You know, the best way to keep the faith is to keep moving. If you stop moving, your faith will begin to die. Would you agree with that, Bryn? No? If just let's talk about it. I don't know.
Okay.
So what will be your thoughts? You're on the
Okay. I was like, well, okay. So I think you and I have a slight departure on this because
it's like this big.
Yeah. Because it's not that I feel like I believe you that you need to be like, you can't just be sitting and doing nothing, right? But the thought itself is active. So that's fine if you're saying that, but it's just the fact that like, there's so much about you gotta be always in constant motion that gets a little lost. So I think it's more breaking down the nuance of what you're saying, because it's more like I expected it to come. So because I expect it to come, I don't have to sit and wait for it. You know what I mean? Like it's just coming. So now I can go and work on, like preparing a place for it, for example.
Absolutely.
So,
okay. Yeah. So for sure, you have to continue to prepare for it. Am I right? You have to do like all that you can though.
Yes. As long as you don't think that you have to make it happen. That's the part that I think where we might depart, because it's the whole thing is like, if I pray for it in faith, then as long as I am actively nurturing that flower, it's going to bloom, but I don't necessarily need to like be focused on it all the time and making sure it happens. And I think that's the only thing. And I'm not saying you say that, but I think that's what gets communicated to a lot of people.
See, it's not even this big. It's like this big. You know what I mean?
See, we're not that
far. Thank you so much, Brent. I appreciate you. So look, there are going to be some things that are required. I'm asking you to just figure out the things that are required for you to accomplish this physical bucket list goal, okay? And then the last thing on that, when are you going to have it? Now, you can't decide. I mean, you can't control certain things in life, right? But I need us to at least have some sort of expectation. And here's the thing. You might not even want it right now. You're saying, okay, well, my bucket list physically is to drop 50 pounds. And I don't know if we haven't gotten to the book yet, this part of the book, but I don't know if you could do it next week. You know what I mean? I don't know if like you could just drop it in, you know what I mean, a couple of days. But let's have some sort of real, this is when I'm going to accomplish this thing. Don't feel pressure to have it this year. Don't feel pressure to have it next week. It could be next year. It could be 2025. But I just want you to write it down so that when you accomplish it, you can come back to these notes and say, yo, I spoke this thing years ago. Okay. All right. Number two on the bucket list, fear-facing bucket list stuff. Woo! Fear-facing bucket list. What is on your fear-facing bucket list? Fear-facing. Now, skydive. Kels, golly. Y'all don't know. So here's the thing, okay? So skydive, I don't do heights, right? So should that go on my fear-facing bucket list? Because heights, listen, when I was on that private plane, I got up in the air and it felt like I was on a high roller coaster. And I was like, yo, I gotta calm down. This is crazy. Do I have to put this on my bucket list? And the answer is no, it's not something that I desire. That is not a fear that I feel like I need to, I don't need to face it right now. But there are some of you that says, yo, I'm going to go conquer my fear. My boy, who was it? It was Trap. I want to say it was Trap. He said, yo, for his, I want to say it was 40th birthday or some birthday, he said he's doing all this bucket list stuff, jumping out of planes, like swimming with sharks. I want to say like he played with lions or something. I don't know. It was a bunch of stuff that he did. I was like, yo, Trap, wow. But he had such an experience by going after that. And then he came back relentless in business and started killing it. He marked off some stuff on his bucket list. And he says, before it's all over, this is some stuff that I don't want to go out saying that I didn't do. So fear-facing. Swimming with sharks. Y'all want to do that? Okay. What's going to be required for you to do that? Now, if I'm going to do something that requires me to face my fears, one of the things on my list of requirement is going to be accountability. And then I got to get around some people that aren't afraid of the thing that I'm afraid of. Write that down. You have to get around people that aren't afraid of the thing that you're afraid of. It's important. It's mandatory. It's necessary. You have to get around people that aren't afraid of the thing that you're afraid of. I tell a story all the time where this guy had punched me in my face and I fell. I was in sixth grade, sixth grade, something like that. I fell. And then in the distance, my brother's coming from the middle school and I instantly got around him and his friends and I was no longer afraid because he wasn't afraid. Being afraid of speaking in front of crowds sometimes is very, very challenging if you're afraid, but the longer you get around other people who aren't afraid, they'll start giving you tactics and stuff and you won't be as afraid. If I got around people who weren't so afraid of heights, eventually it's not going to be as scary as I'm making it in my mind. Okay. All right. Now, when are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? When are you going to jump out of a plane? When are you going to swim with sharks and whales and stuff? When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? All right, here, bucket list. Okay, here we go. Here's my bucket list. I'm going to give you a bucket list of my fear facing, okay? Again, told you about heights. Roller coasters. Roller coasters. Roller coasters.
Dave, we have this in common, both of them. I don't like heights and I don't want to get over the fear of roller coasters.
You know what's crazy? I've settled in the fact that I'm just not doing roller coasters. I've got comfortable in realizing about myself, roller coasters ain't it for me. But I do go sometime and I stay on the ground and I watch my friends go on a roller coaster and watch my family do it. And I'm like, ooh, I hope y'all had fun. But now it's getting more real because I have children. And there are certain experiences that I would love to experience with my children. It's not that I desire to go on a roller coaster just to face that fear, but there's certain experiences that I want to have with my children that are going to require me to face this fear. So I'm going to have to face it. Listen, when my daughter's old enough to get on a roller coaster, I'm going to be right there with her. But by next year, I don't know if I'm ready this year, but next year, I'm going to get on a roller coaster with my daughter, Corey, and it's on my bucket list. Fear facing stuff. By the end, I don't want to walk through life with a fear of something that I'm literally like the only person afraid of. Like when I go in a group, 90% of the people are with it, and I'm typically the only one like, nah, I ain't with it. Throw something in there. Let me see it. Let me see it real quick. Your fear facing. Bucket list, fear facing. Fear facing. Let's do it. Fear facing. Fear. Yo. And next time y'all talk to Terica, yo, she is, I'll put her business out there. She is terrified of water. Terrified. We're in a pool. The pool, and I'm only coming at her because she came at me on her last webinar and started talking about my hairline. So we're in a pool now, and in this resort, we're just in Mexico. In this resort, the water came up to my waist. And I'm like, it's like wastewater, and then it's like a sitting area. You know how like there's a sitting area where the chairs are kind of in the water, but it's on the ledge, but it's not above. You know what I mean? It's just like on it. She was nervous to walk on that part of the water. I'm like, yo, the water comes up to your ankles. She said, nah, I don't do water like that. I'm like, T, it's on your ankles, fam. Like, it's not going to kill you. She's like, yo, I had some bad experiences with water. I don't even get close to it. I'm like, T, just come here, step in the water. It goes to your ankle, not even not into your ankles. Just sit on this chair that's on this water that goes to your ankles. So she like walks mad slow and mad cautious doing it. And then she sits down. And I'm like, yo, T, get in the water. She's like, I don't want to drown. Terica, it's going to come up to it'll come up to your belly button. You know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna drown in this. I was like, yo, if you ever feel like you're drowning, just stand up. She's not doing it. So we're gonna get Terica in the water. We're gonna get Terica in the water. Somebody gotta encourage her. Okay. She's like, yo, I'll do water at all. All right, cool. Let's keep going. When are you gonna do it? When are you gonna do it? Okay, when are you gonna do it? When are you gonna do it? Okay, good. Number three. Let's go. Monetary goals. Monetary goals. Now, y'all might not have many monetary goals, but it is what it is. I'm not saying you have to have them, but if you got some, I'm talking to you. What do you want to accomplish? Okay. What about bucket list? Before it's all over, someone will call me a millionaire, and it's not going to be speaking anything into existence. It's going to be the fact that I've accomplished the goal of becoming a millionaire. As a child, I always wanted to say I'm a millionaire. I wanted people to say, yo, that's a millionaire. I want to be the person that's talking to someone and they say, oh my gosh, I met this millionaire, or oh my gosh, they're a millionaire. That's a bucket list. Don't you want to be called a millionaire? Not speaking into existence, but I'm talking about like someone saying, yo, this person is a certified millionaire or a multimillionaire. Do you want to have, listen, I made a shirt, bucket list stuff. It said, make $1 million, save $1 million, tithe $1 million. I made the shirt before I made $1 million, before I saved $1 million. I've not yet tithed $1 million, but I made the shirt. It's a bucket list shirt. People didn't know that I put my bucket list on a t-shirt and had people wearing my bucket list before I made the $1 million. I created the bucket list. Make $1 million, save $1 million, tithe $1 million, bucket list. Before it's all over, I want to say in a calendar year, I gave $1 million to my church. I want to do that. It's not, first, it's about making $1 million. Great. Then saving $1 million. You just have it. Okay. What is it? What is it? Somebody throw living in a mansion. What is the definition of a mansion? It's something over, what is it? 7,000 square feet? Somebody put it in the chat. How do you define a mansion? Hold on, let's see. Definition of a mansion. What is a mansion? A large building divided into an apartment. What? A manor house. What classifies a house as a mansion? Yes, for starters, mansions are large. The typical real estate definition of a mansion is a home that offers at least 5,000 square feet of space and at least 5 to 6 bedrooms. Mansions typically sit on small acreage. Homes set on vast amounts of land are considered estates. As you can see, there is no true square foot measurement to help you determine if the home you're looking at is a mansion, while the general consensus is that mansions are houses above 5,000 square feet. Most realtors agree that anything above 8,000 square feet is a mansion.
So now we all want estates.
Bucket list. What is it? I don't know. You want an estate? I want an estate. I don't want a house. There's a house, and there's an estate. Okay. Is it a particular type of car that you've always wanted? Yeah, you see like these videos online where older people, 70, 80 years old, and they get like the Corvette, the red Corvette. And it's like, yo, I spent my whole life and I have to check this off on my bucket list. I now have that red Corvette that I saw as a child. It doesn't matter how long it takes. This is your list. This is your list. Okay. All right. Where do you need to be financially to accomplish this particular goal? To check this thing off your bucket list, where do you need to be financially? What the heck do you have to be doing to accomplish this financial goal on your bucket list? You're going to get it. You're going to get it. I promise you. But where do you need to be to get that? When you start calculating, I've been doing this for like years. And I don't know if the number changes, but I always like check it. How much money do you have to make to live in the type of house that you want to live in? So you'll Google it. Let's say I want a $2 million house, and Google will tell you the answer. To live in a $2 million house, you should make at least this amount of money. To live in a $1 million home, you need to make at least this amount of money. And it's not as much as you think it is. Keeping it real with you. Let's do it. Let's just look at it real quick. I'm just gonna like show you some of the bucket list stuff that I'll be doing. Okay. Let's see. How much do you have to make to buy a $1 million home? How much can you afford? It's in here right here. How to afford a million. Okay, cool. Check this out. I told you it's not that much. If you make a 20% down payment, $200,000, and have a few monthly expenses, hold on, let's try this. Experts suggest you might need an annual income between $100,000 and $225,000, depending on your financial profile, in order to afford a $1 million home. Your debt to income ratio, credit score, down payment, and interest rate all factor into what you can afford. So, did you know that if, like, depending on your financial picture, to live in a $1 million home, you can make as little as $100,000 a year to be able to afford a $1 million home. So if you have to put 20% down, now that makes it a $800,000 mortgage, and they're calculating, like, you know how when you go to an apartment, and some of y'all been rich all your life, but when you go to an apartment, they say you need to make what, 2.5 times your rent, because they're saying you can afford this and still be able to live without having a strain on your rent if you make this amount of money, 2.5 times or 3 times. Okay. I thought it was 2.5. Am I wrong? Maybe 3. So you need to make 3 times, let's say 3 times your rent, okay? So if your rent is $2,000 a month, you need to make $6,000 a month. That makes sense? So they're saying, according to the same philosophy, a bank will lend you $1 million to buy a home if you make as little as 100,000 up until 225,000, because they're saying that's the only amount you're going to need to be able to function in this house and still be able to live comfortably and pay your mortgage. Okay. All right. I just need you to find out what you need. Okay, good. I'm almost done. And we'll talk. Oh, dates. You need a date. When are you going to have your $1 million home? When are you going to buy this $1 million home? Listen, that joint probably will come up a lot faster than you think, actually, because if you guys are preparing like I'm preparing, and you're doing your very best to run the bag up like I'm doing my very best to run the bag up so that I have some liquid, y'all going to come out of this situation with some property. I'm no real estate expert. I'm just following Terica's advice. She's saying it's happening. I've been through this. I saw this. All the signs are there. People are going to clean up and start building really start building wealth, getting their first properties in this particular season. Save your cash. And she got numbers. I'm telling you. She's like, yo, I put aside this amount of money. And that y'all might want to ask her on Friday with Q&A. How much money do I need to put aside to be able to really make some money if the market does what we think it's going to do? Okay. All right. Number four, travel goals. Travel goals. Where you want to go? Where you want to go? Where you want to go? Where are we going? Cuba? Back to South Africa. Bali, Dubai, Japan, Cameroon, Thailand. Where are you going? Where are you going? The Social Proof Podcast. I feel you. India for food. Just for the food. I ain't mad. Tanzania, Maldives, Singapore. Are you going to go? Question is, when you going? Bucket list. Before it's all over, this is a part of the world that you are going to have to get to. Do not let the clock time out without you going to Maldives, Sydney. Andrew, are you going to Dubai? Don't listen. You need to have some stories to tell your kids about Dubai. I'm seeing a bunch of little Tanzanias in here. Now, for me, I don't have a whole lot on this list because traveling ain't my thing. You know what I mean? I like being at the crib. I'm not gonna lie to you. I really, I love Atlanta. I don't, people be judging me. I'm not a traveler, okay? I could spend my whole life and never go to France. Or I'll probably get canceled for this. Africa. I don't say I want to go like that. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not a traveler like that. I guess I should go back to the motherland. Not saying that I wouldn't, but it's not necessarily a bucket list thing. I only say that to say, just because somebody else's bucket list looks a certain way, it doesn't have to be you. I want you to get out of life what you want out of life. Is that cool? You know, I heard DJ Khaled doesn't fly. He doesn't fly. Did y'all know that? Am I right? Did y'all hear that? He doesn't fly at all. Like if he's in another city, they drove there. Is he flying now? Yo, there's a bunch of people that don't like flying, but will not step on a plane. And it might be there on their bucket list. He overcame his fear. Oh, good for Khaled. Good for Khaled. But for a long time, DJ Khaled would not jump on a plane. I'm talking about accomplished massive success and was really, really happy. But I'm saying that might have been on his bucket list to jump on a plane and look at him, accomplish his fear. That is good. Okay. All right, cool. What experiences do you want to have? There's like travel stuff. What experiences do you want to share? I don't know, Jaleesa, she's like hopeless romantic a little bit. She might want to have dinner in front of the Eiffel Tower with her man, with her main. right? Like, what is some experiences you want to have? Throw it in the chat. I want to know these experiences. Yo, y'all don't, this exercise is probably more powerful than you realize, because most people go through life not knowing what they want. They have an idea of it, but they never really pinpoint, this is what I want. And sometimes if you don't decide what you want, you'll never have it. And then what it looks like, one of my greatest fears is like sitting around my family, children, grandchildren, and not having interesting stories to tell. One of my greatest fears. One of my greatest fears is to be too old to do some things and then realize that I never really set out to do them. But while I was young enough to do it, I probably could have handled it. I probably could have done them, but now I'll never experience it. You can get to a point where you will never experience. It's just, it's over. It's over. I'm asking you, if you want to jump out of plane now while you still can. For your bedridden. Imagine being bedridden and like all these things are going through your mind of experiences that you only got to see in your mind, but you never had a chance to do them. We got one life, y'all. We got one life. Now, I'm not skydiving because I don't want to lose the one life I got. Skydiving. You know what I mean? That ain't, but it's not on my bucket list. My list doesn't have to be your list. Your list doesn't have to be my list. But I just want you to get some stuff out of life, but you won't get it unless you know what you want. Okay, last part. All other stuff that we didn't mention. All the other stuff maybe on your list. It's not travel, it's not financial. Maybe on your list is to invent something that has a pad and you invented it. Maybe on your list is to get a Hollywood star. I don't know. Do they still do the thing with the hands on the cement? Maybe, maybe on your bucket. You do? They do that?
They do, yeah.
So what's the difference between that and the stars?
Well, the stars are paid for by people, like they're actually crowdfunded by their fans or like by, like other people can buy them, but the Raman's Chinese theater is a big deal. But, they move them around. So they move the stars around, they move the handprints around. So it's all, can be moved.
Okay. Well, maybe that's your goal, to have your hands on the cement and people taking pictures and all that kind of stuff. What is it? Get into a major movie? I don't know. Maybe on your bucket list to meet a celebrity. Man, you know what have been on, oh my gosh, bucket list stuff. And this was on my bucket list, but I didn't realize, I didn't have this exercise to realize it, right? But I missed a huge opportunity that I would have never forgot. Y'all want to hear it? Y'all want to hear what it was? I missed a huge opportunity. But the only reason I missed this huge opportunity is because I didn't have this exercise. If I could have had someone have this conversation with me, let's say 13 years ago. Yes, Tony. Yes. To meet Jim Rohn. That man changed my life. And I didn't realize that I'm supposed to have a bucket list. I didn't realize that I'm supposed to say, I need to meet the man that changed my life. He like single-handedly, oh my gosh. And I think somebody commented today, like, y'all hear Jim Rohn and David. If you listen to me long enough, and you listen to Jim Rohn, you will see that I've adopted a lot of the Jim Rohn style, but not intentionally. It was just the fact that I've listened to him every single day for a long time. Changed my mindset, changed my life. And that's what helped me leave my job. That's what helped me like really get through some really, really hard times. I wish someone would have told me that I need to write down the people that I want to meet before it's all over, because now it's too late. He left us. And listen, I'm not an emotional person, but when he died, I remember being in my living room, sitting in silence. I felt like I felt like I knew so much about him. There was a point where Jim Rohn was my best friend. I listen to him every day. And I would walk around my apartment and like talk like him and recite the things that he's saying. And I'll have his voice on loud and I'll say it with him, just how he's saying it. But I didn't realize I was supposed to put it on a bucket list. And these people are just humans. You can meet them. If they're living, you can meet them. Put it on your list. Put it on your list. Put it on your list. All right. I love you all. You know what? Some of you are going to be on someone's bucket list, but not before you become someone who deserves to be on someone's bucket list. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go win. Life is for the taking, y'all. Like, yo, you could reach out and grab your goals. I'm telling you from the perspective of a server at the Cheesecake Factory. I'm telling you, but when I was there, I really thought that some of the things that I've accomplished were unattainable. I had no idea. I had so much self-doubt. I was like, I just thought that success was luck or circumstances for a long time. But then I met people like Jim Rohn virtually. Then I got around like these other, like, I watched my boy Neo. Like, we had the same amount of followers. We were making about the same amount of money. We were doing the same thing. Our groups were about the same size. And then he went to a whole nother level. And I said, yo, I could do that. I just got in an environment. I'm telling you, these type of conversations changed my life. I'm telling you. And some people, because it doesn't seem like practical information, or it can be taken as fluff, you might not realize the importance of this moment that you're having right now. I don't care. I tell you a whole bunch of stuff to do. You're not going to do it with all your might and all your soul and all your heart because you don't see it. As soon as I start seeing it, that's when I turn up the heat, because I can see it now. But it takes these conversations to see it. I just want you to have a moment with you to like see the stuff that you want. So I love you. I can't wait to see y'all in Cameroon and Australia and France and the Maldives and Dubai and where else y'all said y'all going? Tanzania. I didn't know that was like a desirable place. Like, we're going to Tanzania, Thailand. You going to Greece, friend?
Yeah, Santorini, Greece is my number one. I've always wanted to go. So yeah.
Hold on, Santorini is in Greece.
Santorini, Greece. It's beautiful. You know where you see the blue water and the juxtaposition.
Hold on. Are we talking about the same place? Tanzania and Greece?
No. Sorry, Santorini, Greece. Santorini, Greece. Yes, Santorini, Greece.
You know what it's required to go there?
Money.
How much?
Probably. I just looked at a trip, and it was like, it's only like $3,000. So now that doesn't include the flight. The one that I saw was like 7 days, but just the accommodations and stuff and a couple of meals. How much is the
Delta One flight? Like the one where you lay down in the pod?
Oh, for sure. I'm definitely going, but I have so many points, so I'm doing first class. Definitely, first class. So.
When you going? Let's hold her accountable, y'all.
It's definitely within a year. Within a year, I'll be in Santorini. It's happening.
It don't take but a few clients.
That's it. Oh, I've already got the money. It's just a matter of, making sure I booked the flight. So that's good. Good.
Oh, y'all want to see Bray do something? Book the flight now. You got the money? Book it now. We want to see.
Okay, as soon as you get on that roller coaster, I'm gonna book that
flight. Yo, man, thank you so much, Brent. And yes, we'll have Brent next week.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Thanks.
What's next week? Is next week?
Next week is the 18th, 19th, 20th, 25th?
25th is next week. It'll either be next week or the week. Yeah, it'll be next week. Next week, we're having Brent in here. All right. So I love y'all. Brent, the floor is yours. Keep up the energy. Keep doing what you're doing, sister.
If you like the video that you just watched, click this one. You're going to like this one, maybe even more.